40 years ago, just out of the Navy and contemplating college, I took a little road trip with my best friend Jim and my younger brother and sisters in Jim's old battered Blatz beer van up to upstate New York, where we thought we were going to go to a little rock festival in a small town called Bethel, New York. You may have heard of it. It's Woodstock Music and Art Fair. I don't think any of the 500,000 of us that finally made it there realized what a scene it was going to be. It was incredible. It was what turned out to actually be 4 days of mud and music and freedom to do just about anything you wanted to do. And I've got many, many great memories of that time, but there are still a couple of things that bug me about the whole thing. I think the greatest thing that bugs me is I never got any credit, never got any royalties, never got anybody even saying thank you very much for my great kazoo virtuoso that led into Santana's Soul Sacrifice number on the album. And I still to this day don't know why I didn't get any credit. You may remember the part of the album that's what's known as the crowd rain chant, although if you watch the movie, it's not quite the same scene. The movie has a split screen of people playing in the mud and other people beating on wine bottles and shouting and humming along and whatnot. But if you notice, their musical act doesn't quite match the tape. See, the crowd rain chant was actually recorded by a lone sound man in a semi-trailer that had been abandoned with about a couple of thousand undistributed programs of the concert. And about 24 of us had found our way into the van to keep out of the rain. And like in any gathering of hippies at the time, the wine bottles started being passed around along with other stuff. And before you know it, my friend Jim took one of the empty wine bottles and started beating it with his stick, and everyone else started hitting whatever they could, and before too long they had a little chant going. You may remember it. It went da 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 da, and then they would come in with peace, 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 or a couple of other chants we had. And towards the middle of that cut on the album, you can hear my kazoo start coming in with the rest of the music going. And went on until the great segue on the album going into Santana's number. Never got any credit, but that's okay. What I was thinking of doing is just waiting until the 50th anniversary and then suing the suckers. It'd be my own little private retirement account, if you know what I mean. But the other thing that bugs me about that weekend is that I wandered all over the grounds. I mean, I skinny dipped in the pond. I was around the medical tent listening to the freaked out cries of the brown acid victims. I wandered down to the Hog Farm's free stage for their free gruel and music being played down there. I walked up the tree-lined path where people had set up little stands to sell hippie trinkets and drugs, and I wandered all over the festival grounds, partying with the people, listening to the greatest music I'd ever heard in all my life. And a couple of years later, when the movie came out, I watched the movie intently. I figured I was all over the place. I was going to be there. I was going to be in the movie someplace, and no. Who gets in the movie? My sister. My 19-year-old sister. She called herself Sunshine at the time and later moved to a commune in Lincoln, Nebraska. But at that time, what she had done is that she and my other brother, Chuck, had wandered away from us, and we didn't see them for the whole weekend. And Kathy, or Sunshine, had found some friends in the in the crowd in front of the main stage and just stayed there the whole weekend. And if you watch the movie, in a split screen sequence of the rain, one half of the screen, the stage crew is running around trying to protect all the equipment and everything, and in the other split screen, they've got the hunkered down hippies trying to protect themselves from the rain. They're all down there with whatever they could to cover themselves, all except for one blonde flower child who standing up and arms upraised and just letting the rain fall down on her. Just this lone figure in the crowd, just enjoying the rain. It's my sister. I didn't talk to her for about a year and a half after I watched the movie. I was so mad. But, you know, I've forgiven her since then. I figured, well, at least one member of the Allen clan got in it. Anyway, that's my Woodstock memory, and to kind of sign off, I'll give you a little more kazoo playing. Wonder how many of us are left.